Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Marnie and a lot of you found my channel through the videos I made about Chico State, my alma mater. I graduated in May, which I would say like in the middle of a pandemic, but really now it's looking like that was just the beginning since we are ongoing in this thing. It's been over 6 months now since I graduated and no longer a student, but an adult who has to figure life out on their own. And I wanted to take some time to reflect on what that has been like and whether or not college was worth it. So I got my Bachelor of Science in Nutrition and Food Science, which is a niche degree. It's not something like communication or business. It's highly specialized, but also the job market is narrow. It's been pretty difficult to convince any company that I'm talking to that my skills are transferable. I'm pretty smart. Straight up, like I always have been, I am able to figure things out really fast. I'm willing to put in the work to be good at any job I have. But someone has to really trust you in that hiring process that you're gonna be the person who can figure that out. And I don't know if I'm just not very convincing or what. A lot of times college makes it sound like you went to college, now you are hireable. Not the case. And this year has been especially different, special, I don't know. From what I understand, there's like people with master's degrees and PhDs doing what would be my entry-level job because everyone is screwed right now. Back in March, when everything started to fall apart, I had like 5 interviews set up for spring break, which is the week that everything got shut down in California. So all of my interviews got canceled. At that point, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna not look for corporate jobs. I found it disheartening, depressing. Everybody that I was previously talked to is now saying that they're not hiring anybody new on. It was a mess. So when I graduated, I ended up getting a job as the beverage cart girl at a golf course. It was fun for the summer, but I knew it wasn't like what I was gonna do for the rest of my life. So I ended up going back to one of the retail jobs that I had in college at Home Depot. I worked there full-time for a couple of months, and then I picked up a different part-time job at a different retail store and then worked both of those jobs. So I was working 45, 50-hour weeks, 6 or 7 days a week at Bay Area minimum wage of like $15 to $16 an hour. I was making good enough money and working a ton, so I was keeping really busy. Getting a real job just wasn't on my mind. It didn't even occur to me. I do think I probably would have gotten around to looking for different jobs right as the second lockdown in California started, because my hours would have been cut pretty significantly at both of those jobs, and I would have realized like, okay, that worked out for the time being, but not forever. And then this unexpected move to Austin happened, and I'm working part-time in retail. I have been spending quite a bit of time applying to real jobs, corporate jobs, and it's going well. I'm getting responses. People are looking to hire. Like, even if I'm getting no's, it's because I'm not qualified, not because they're just straight up not hiring anybody right now. Part of me is like, maybe if I'd been applying all summer, I would be in a different place right now. Who knows? It's really hard to tell because that just wasn't even on my mind. And now that I'm out here and my student loans are actually due and I have to fund my own life, it's a way bigger motivation to take that next step into finding a job. And honestly, I think even without COVID, I would be having this same set of issues. Like, I never really knew what I wanted to do with my life. My degree was always super niche and not that useful, unfortunately. And I have always been kind of like, well, I'll just keep doing this minimum wage job. Why not? Whatever. So I almost kind of feel like having to move out really forced me out of the house and into the job market, and it's going fine. So I'll get back to you on how that goes, but like hopefully good. I don't know if it's the fact that it's Texas or if it's just timing or that I actually have taken the time to apply to jobs, but I really have hope that something will work out. And I just kind of believe that, like every other time I've ever applied for a job, you apply to like tons, no one gets back to you for like a month, and then in like a 3-day period you have to decide what you want to do for work because you have tons of options. You have to weigh like money versus how much you will like or hate that job. Part of me worries that maybe I'm too hopeful because this year has been a shit show for so many people. So many of like the smartest, hardest working people that I know are also working for way less money than they expected, not in the career field that they wanted, regardless of the fact that they like got extra certificates or like have this incredible resume. Doesn't seem to matter at this point what's on your resume or any of that. It really is a mix of like who you know and who's hiring, and it's not a lot of people. I, throughout my life, have always struggled to believe in myself. Believe that if I work hard and I do what I'm supposed to, good things will happen. I'm gonna get the job I want. I'm gonna achieve all my dreams. But I feel like I emotionally prepared myself for this time in my life. I already accepted that I was gonna be broke after I got out of college because I have debt to pay back, and I have a super niche degree that wasn't hireable pre-pandemic, let alone now. I emotionally prepared myself to be in a field that maybe had nothing to do with my degree, but at least have a job, to have to put most of my money towards my student loans until they were gone. So this year to me hasn't been shocking or upsetting because I'm just glad I have a job. And I have shared that, I think, pretty consistently on this channel. It's like, well, I kind of hate work, but like at least I have a job. At least I have a job. At least I have somewhere to be most of the week that fills up my time, gives me some money. I just know that it's the next step to what I want to do. And it's so weird because I've never been one to be like, trust the process. Like you're gonna figure it out. But I just am. Mostly because I have to. I refuse to just be miserable for the rest of my life. So somehow I'm gonna finesse it that I either work some job I don't really like but pays well enough that I get to do the fun stuff, or a job I really like that brings meaning and value to my world. And I just am not that worried that it's never gonna work out for me, because it just will. It has to. And I'm gonna make it happen. Do I regret going to school? Because if you think about it, my degree thus far has been nothing to me other than a $50,000 piece of paper that I owe to the bank. It feels like logically I should be saying like, I regret school, like I regret going to college, but I just straight up don't. Do I wish I wasn't in debt? Yes. Do I wish I could just suddenly have a job and be hireable? Yes. Do I regret amassing debt just to graduate into the worst economic crash and the worst job market since 2008, and possibly even a worse job market? Like, I don't love it, but I can't help but feel like this is just part of my life. It's just part of the story of me 10 years from now looking back on this video and going, yeah, girl, you figured it out. It's gonna be fine. College taught me so much about myself, and it taught me how to handle stuff like this. I got therapy when I was in college, and I really don't think I would be as mentally sound as I am today had I not been in therapy consistently for like 3 or 4 years, included in my tuition, because I don't think otherwise that I would have gone. The way that my health insurance does therapy is you're either like severely mentally ill and you can have some therapy, but mostly we're gonna try to prescribe you some drugs and send you on your way. And I don't need that. I needed someone to teach me coping mechanisms because no one ever taught me them as a child. So when I got to college, it's basically a toddler being like, why is everything difficult? And I don't want to have to figure any of this out. So I spent like 4 years actually in therapy, 5 years in college, learning how to figure things out. So now when I'm under that extra pressure of like, and now you have to pay for it too, I just know that I've got it in me somewhere. And maybe it's not today, maybe some days I do question all my life choices. The other day, I sat down in the shower and cried because it's so hard to tell yourself every day good things are coming. Because like, what if they don't? Like, that's not guaranteed. Just like it's not guaranteed that bad things are gonna happen. That doesn't mean I don't wake up the next day and go, all right, well, I'm gonna figure out what I'm gonna do. Being in debt isn't fun for me. Like, I'm not like, yes, I love this. But I just don't believe in the philosophy of just following hedonistic pleasures in life. Just chasing after like, ooh, this tastes good, yummy. Ooh, this feels good, shoot up heroin. Ooh, I like the way it feels to just watch Netflix all day and just to never feel any pain or struggle and only have someone feeding you grapes and massaging your feet, okay? I don't know if it's listening to Joe Rogan for the last 3 years, but I truly believe that struggling and coming out on the other side, either a success story or a failure who learned something and has a lesson from that failure, that is how you find fulfillment in life. My life has never been boring. There's there's always something happening. It's always been dramatic. Like since I was a child, there's always something going on at home. My mom was the same way. She's just dramatic and I kind of like it. Okay, I always have a story to tell someone if I haven't seen them in like a week. I'm like, oh my gosh, here is the update. I don't want to live like the nuclear family boring life. I don't want to be a stay-at-home mom. I've been very clear about that. I think I would actually run up such credit card debt from online shopping if I was a stay-at-home mom. It's not for me. I just believe in myself. It's so weird because I haven't worked on much in quarantine, in the lockdown, during the coronavirus, but I've really worked on the way I see myself. And I used to really think like I'm a failure, I'm going nowhere, I'm never gonna achieve anything. But I know that that's not true, okay? I don't work all week, post 3 videos a week for nothing. I have dreams and goals and I'm gonna figure out a way to get to them. And I don't know how it's gonna go. It could happen in any number of ways. I didn't think I'd be living in Austin, Texas in December of 2020. If you asked me in May, I'd be like, that's ridiculous. How am I gonna pay for that? It's an excellent question, me from the past, but you're figuring it out. So if you also graduated in May or you're about to graduate, here's something I wish someone had told me. First of all, just because you're like out of college, you're 23, you're 24, you're 25, you should know what's going on. You don't, okay? Nobody does. They're all lying if they say they have it figured out. And they're all probably not doing as well financially as they make it look like. It's a facade, okay? I think it's fine to be satisfied with yourself and where you are and working towards the future. It's not here yet, and that's fine. Do I wish I could see a couple years in and be like, okay, like where's this going? Yes, but that's not gonna happen. The other thing I want to say, because I wish I'd heard this, because I've realized it recently, I think kind of no matter what, unless you're really lucky, the first year, 2 years, 3 years, where you're in your first like career job, I think it all kind of sucks. I think it's hard, thankless work, and you just have to do a good enough job that you can either move up in that company or move up into another company, and you just get your 1 to 3 years of experience, and you just have to do it. After 2020, a year is no time at all. I remember last December like it was 2 months ago, not 12 months ago. And I know that when you get older, time feels different because you've lived more years, so a year becomes less of a big time frame. But if I have to struggle for the next 2 to 5 years to come out on the other side successful in some way, then that's what I'm gonna do. And also, what's the other option? Give up? No, I don't give up anymore, okay? That was like depressed 18-year-old Marnie's thing. I loved giving up. Even my whole childhood, my parents let me quit every sport, whether they wanted me to or not. I was not going to practice, okay? I don't want to become an Irish dancer. I don't want to become a soccer player. I don't want to do any of it. I quit. I don't quit anymore. It was always my biggest insecurity that I am just a quitter who gives up on anything difficult. But guess what? Life is difficult and I will not be the one killing myself, you know? Like it's just not an option for me. I think, and maybe I'm wrong, but I think the sooner that you're like, well, we can't give up, so what are we gonna do? You can move on into the next step, because I've just eliminated that as an option. Are there certain days where I give up or give myself an afternoon to play my sad playlist? Yes. But you have to do it, and I'm doing it. I'm gonna figure it out. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I just will. So no, I don't regret going to college for a $50,000 piece of paper. And I just hope that other people who are struggling right now, you can also just trust that something eventually will work out. Whether it's the vaccine gets rolled out and everybody just goes back to life as normal. And then it'll be a whole different set of issues as far as like getting hired. I don't know. You gotta make it happen, and you're gonna make it happen. And me from the future, if you're watching this, is everything okay? Hope it all went well. So yeah, that's the end of my video. I'll probably end up doing another one of these 6 months from now to see if maybe anything has changed. Fingers crossed that it will. Not mentally, as far as like me feeling okay about it, just like financially, because that is kind of hard. I just think me right now and future me, we gotta lock down. I'm the main character. I love myself and I'm gonna figure it out. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, I will see you next time.